I'm Eli the Computer Guy, and today's class is on the business of data recovery. Because let's face it, you're not learning this stuff just as an intellectual exercise. Maybe a little bit, but that's not the end result. The end result, one way or another, is to be making some money. Whether you're your own consultant, whether you're an employee, whatever you're trying to do, the end result of all this training is to put a few more greenbacks into your bank account. So one of the things I'm trying to do with our classes is, as we have an introductory class to all of our tracks, I want a capstone class to all of our tracks about the business of what you are doing. So this class will be on the business of data recovery. We will have a class on the business of web marketing, a class on the business of web design, etc. With the idea of now that you've gained this knowledge on how to do something, how do you actually make any money at it? I mean, you could be the smartest guy in the world, but if you don't know how to take that intelligence and turn it into money, who the hell cares? You may be looking at the course list for data recovery right now and saying to yourself, "Well, it's kind of small." Maybe you thought I was going to teach you more than I have so far. I am going to come back and we are going to flesh out this course. We're doing this course right now, and I think we have 5, maybe 6 classes in the data recovery track. This is more than enough information for people who are already technologists. If you are already in the computer field, if you already understand how computers work, and we're basically, you just needed a little bit more understanding on how to do data recovery. The classes we've given you so far should really be able to help you out, and you should be able to do something useful with what we've taught you so far. If you're newer to the computer field, what you should realize and what you should really get through your head is all data recovery is it's pure and simple hacking. So the more you understand about computers, the more you understand about how data is stored, the more you understand how software works, how operating systems work, how operating systems and software interact back and forth, the more you understand that, the better you will get at data recovery. Because essentially all you are doing with data recovery is you are accessing data that the average user is not supposed to get to. You're supposed to get to a document by booting up a computer, logging into the operating system, opening up Word, and then opening up a document. You're not supposed to get to a document by ripping a hard drive out of a computer and plugging it into a different computer. That's not what Bill Gates was thinking about when they come up with the whole process on how to open documents. So when you rip a hard drive out of one computer and put it into another computer, that is hacking. If you use something called a live CD to boot up a computer with a dead operating system and then access the hard drive that's in that computer, that is hacking. Bypassing or changing passwords is hacking. This is all simply hacking. So as we go, I am going to come back and I am going to do classes on specific products and flesh out certain parts of the data recovery field. But just realize that at this point, I have taught you enough for you to be able to go out and to start doing your own research and deciding how you're going to do data recovery on your own. So let's give me a second. I'll come back. Today we're going to be talking about dealing with clients. We're going to talk about coming up with procedures for the data recovery process so we stay the hell away from the rabbit hole to hell. And finally, we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about, what do you charge, etc. So just give me 1 second and we'll get into all that. So the first topic we're going to talk about in this business class is how to deal with clients. So clients may be the customers that come into your store off the street. They may be your clients if you're a consultant, or it may be your boss or subordinate or whoever, if you're an IT guy in a company, whoever comes to you. These people are all your clients, whether they actually, give you the money or if somebody else signs your paycheck because you worked for them. Anybody that you're working for are your clients. So when somebody comes to you with a dead computer, with data on it, the first thing that you really have to ask, and you really have to drill down and get out of the person, is this data actually worth anything? I've seen this a lot in the real world where people are coming, they're crying, oh my God, my data's gone, my data's gone. I need it back so quickly. And so, back when I was new at all this, I was a new little consultant. I'd run and be like, oh my God, okay, we're gonna get you this data back as quickly as possible. And then I do this data recovery. And then I'm searching through the data that I recovered, and it's temp files, and it's pictures of little puppies. And it's not wedding pictures, it's not resumes, it's not really anything. And you come to find out that they think that their AOL email was stored on their computer, which it's not. It was up on the web. Or they think their Picasa pictures or Flickr pictures were up on the web. They say, I need all my videos from YouTube. That's not data recovery. That's on YouTube by another computer. You think I'm joking. Look at this smile. Look at this genuine smile. And realize I am not joking. There are a lot of people out there that really just don't understand how computers work. So if their computer dies, they think they lost their Hotmail. They think they lost their Flickr pictures. They think that all those really cool TV shows they got from Hulu are going to disappear forever. So before you start the data recovery process, really talk to your client, because you're going to have a lot of numbnuts clients out there, and make sure that you're actually recovering any data, real data. The next thing is when you do start to go into this process, if the client that you're dealing with seems a little slow or not too on the ball, remember those ID10T errors we were talking about, where people think they deleted a file or folder and they really moved it somewhere else. So if you're dealing with somebody that's not really kind of up on the whole computer thing, especially if they have a working computer, that they're giving you a computer to recover, let's say, the deleted files or folders, you may just want to do that search first before you go into the whole deleted file recovery process, to make sure they just didn't store that file or folder in a place and they forgot about it. Remember, the ID10T errors can kill you. Now, the next thing is, we'll go into money in one of the next sections, but what's going to happen is when you recover the data, so let's say they genuinely have data to recover. You spend 24, 36, God knows how many hours recovering this data, and you have a pile of documents. The first thing that you need to have an agreement, actually before you even start the data recovery, is what you are trying to recover. Are you trying to recover documents? Are you trying to recover pictures? Are you trying to recover everything that's on the hard drive? So you run these scans. Now, if you don't actually get anything back, well, obviously that didn't work for you. And so it's up to you whether you're going to charge them or not. If all you get back is, let's say, temp files or Windows operating system files, again, that obviously did not work to what the customer wants. So whether you charge them is your business. But if you get back documents, if you get back pictures, if you get back PowerPoint presentations and the whole 9 yards, and you get a chunk of them back, not like one out of an entire hard drive, but I mean, you brought back 100 documents, 500 pictures, whatever. You brought back a significant amount of data. This is going to be very hard. This is going to be very hard for you to do, but please listen to me. 12 years experience, I learned this the hard way. You do not let your clients see that data until they pay the bill. Don't let them see it, because what they're going to do, and I've seen this in the real world, is you go to all this effort to recover the data. You bring back all these documents, you bring back all these pictures, you bring back all these videos. You've done your job. You've done as good as you can do. They will go to the computer where you have the data stored, they will look at it, and then they'll go, oh, I thought that document was on this computer. I guess it wasn't. And then they'll turn around and they will walk out the door, and they won't pay the bill. Or you will have recovered 100 documents, but the one document that they really cared about is not one of the documents that you recovered. Again, you can be sorry for them, you can be sad for them, but if you recovered a lot of actual data, but the single document that they want simply isn't there, that's not your fault, and they still need to pay you. So just keep that in mind is if you pull a significant amount of data, they don't get to see any of it until they pay that bill. Don't do that at your own risk. And the final thing, because again, you and employees and everybody are far too worried about the client's dime. You need to be worried about getting the client's dime. You don't need to be worried about saving the client money right at this point. Do not burn the data to CDs or DVDs. So if they give you a hard drive to recover the data off of, and they say, can I get that on a CD? Can I get that on a DVD? No. Burning CDs and DVDs takes an atrocious amount of time. It's not just, as you know, you're a computer person, it's not just copy and pasting. You put the disk in, you start up Nero or whatever the hell else you're using, you copy the files on, it takes half an hour to burn. Then if you have, 20 or 30 gigs, then you've got to use multiple DVDs. And the client isn't going to want to pay a dime more for you doing that. So you're going to end up spending up to an hour or 2 hours of actual work, messing around with all these CDs and DVDs to copy the data onto them. And then when you give it to the client, and I've seen this, even if you try to charge $5 per DVD, they're up in arms. What? I've already paid you $200 for this data recovery. Why am I paying you another $5 per DVD? It's like, well, because that took time, that took effort. So now in today's day and age, with flash drives and with external hard drives, I would tell you, if you do the data recovery, you recover data, you call them up or you talk to them and you say, either you bring me a flash drive of the appropriate size, however much data they have, or an external USB drive of the appropriate size, or you're buying one from me. So, you've already done the data for however much you're going to charge. Like I said, we'll go into that later. And one, this is a perfect way to upsell because you get to make money off of selling a hard drive or a flash drive. And two, you're not going to lose your mind with the client. Because like I say, that the clients will want you to burn that data to CDs and DVDs because they assume for some reason CDs and DVDs are cheap or free. Which is true. The discs themselves are 25 cents a piece. I don't care about the discs. Hell, I'll give a customer an entire spool of 50 of them. What is it, $5? It's the time that it takes to burn those CDs and DVDs that really just makes your life miserable. And the final thing then dealing with clients is always make sure you under-promise what you're going to do and then find out what happens. As I always say, under-promise, over-deliver. With data recovery, you under-promise and then see how it goes. Clients really do think this is all magic. They think Bill Gates comes down from heaven, anoints all of us computer geeks with his special wand, and we get a wand, and basically we make all the money because we have these special wands where we can tap computers and tap hard drives, and all of a sudden crap works. Seriously, they really do, I think. So make sure if somebody gives you one of these hard drives, you're realistic about how long it will take to do the data recovery. I would never in my life state that it would take any less than 48 hours to do a data recovery. If it was me, I would tell them about 5 days, maybe. Because again, you start doing all these scans, if you put the hard drive, let's say a terabyte hard drive, onto a data recovery device, you've got to transfer all that information from the bad hard drive onto the good one. And if that's a really bad hard drive, that could take a long time. And then that's just transferring the bits and bytes. Then you pull the now good hard drive out, you plug that into a data recovery computer, it starts looking for corrupted files and all that, and that can take 5 to 12 hours at least. Then once that scan is done, you then decide what files you need to recover, you grab those, and that could be another few hours. And I mean, that's eating up into almost 2 days already. Then if it's 100 gigs or if it's quite a number of gigabytes worth of data, then even if you do have a USB drive, you have to plug that in, you have to transfer the data over. Basically, the process can take a long time. So make sure that your clients understand that you have no idea what you will actually get, and you don't really know how long it will take. If they come in and they say, I need this by the end of the night, tell them, I'm sorry, and let them walk out the door. You will be happier for it. So now that we've talked about that, let's go into procedures. So we've talked about the clients. We've talked basically how you should interact with them, what their expectations are and what you should do. So now that the client has dropped off the device to you, the data device to you, whether it's a hard drive, an external hard drive, etc. The question is what procedures will you use to do data recovery? Now, as I said before, when I do these classes become a fixed point in time. So this class right now is being shot on March 4th, 2010. So I could write a whole set of procedures for you right now that would be completely obsolete in 3 months. That's how the technology field is. So I'm not going to bother with coming up with a whole set of procedures. What I will tell you is that you do need to come up with a set of procedures. They should be somewhere probably between 3 to maybe 6 steps in length. You should follow those procedures and stick to them. So, basically, like I said before, why I like the data recovery devices is because if I plug the hard drive into the data recovery device, I press start and then it fails, I can say at that point, this is as good as I can do, the hard drive is dead. Call the client up and tell them to pick up their dead hard drive. I am not going any further with this. I can give them a referral if they would like, but I am not going to waste time trying to find out a new solution that might recover data off of the hard drive. Especially when you're dealing with employees, and especially dealing with new consultants. I've started to get a lot of messages from you guys, and I see a lot of you guys are new to this field. When you're new to the field, it's really hard when people start trying to pull on your heartstrings, because I would like to say it's all big burly men that walk in with their hard drives and they plop it on the thing and they say, "See what you can do, boy, and if you give me what I need, I'll give you money." I wish I could say that's how it worked. A lot of times you get little old grannies coming in and they're going to say their little hard drive has the pictures of their grandkids when they were 2 and now they're 25, and if they lose those pictures, they don't know what they're going to do with themselves. Or they're going to be pictures with dead spouses on there, wedding pictures. I mean, when people want data recovery, they're not looking for their 5th grade, thesis on why volcanoes blow up. They're looking for wedding pictures, baby pictures, dead spouses, dead dogs. I mean, just, stuff. It makes you want to cry. The problem is there's only so much you can do in life. So if you have a set of procedures, then you take that hard drive with the wedding pictures, you do the first procedure, you do the second procedure, and if you're not getting data within your procedures, you should have a fail out. So if this doesn't work, you try this, if that still doesn't work, you call the client and give it back to them. Because what will happen is if you don't hard code, if you don't put something in stone that says when you're going to stop doing data recovery, man, that hard drive will sit around forever, and you will try. I'm telling you to use 3 or 6 procedures. There's 1,000 different ways you could try to do data recovery. So if you don't stop at some point, you will just waste an atrocious amount of time trying to recover data that you probably will never actually get back. This is what I call the rabbit hole to hell phenomenon, where if you follow that rabbit and you keep following, and you spend all this time and all this effort, and it gets you nowhere. The client's not happier because not only did you not get them the data back, but you took a long time to do it. People need closure. People need to know that something is dead. A computer is just like a puppy sometimes. If you do your procedures and then you call them back within a day or two and you say, "I am sorry, I cannot get the data back," it allows them time to grieve. Sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. Whereas if you keep stringing them along for a month, then they're actually going to end up getting pissed at you. So although it seems better to keep trying to do all these different things to try to get the data back, the reality is if the data is gone, if you can't get it back, then you need to close that ticket. You need to close that work order. If it's a little grandma with pictures of a dead spouse, she needs to get on with life and grieve for the loss of that hard drive. Or if it's an executive with all of their contacts, you need to tell them to pull out all their old business cards and retype those damn things. Just how it is. I've seen this, also, with the bosses, talking about grandmas, but, you don't want to disappoint the boss. Well, if the boss's data is gone, then business is on the line. So if it's gone, he needs to find a way to recreate it. So if you can't recover it, he has to be able to, or she has to be able to recreate it. If you drag them along for 2 weeks, then they're 2 weeks behind in that process. So they're not going to be happy. So the main thing with procedures is come up with a set of procedures, generally between 3 to 6 steps in length. Put in the stone, rock solid. If this fails, then I'm done. It's over. Call the client, call the boss, and tell them nothing can be done. That is gone. You can change these procedures over time, but don't change them willy-nilly. Things do change, so maybe every 3 months, go back and look at your data recovery process, but don't change your procedures just based on the week. Maybe if I added this thing next time. No. So just come up with procedures that are rock solid, 3 to 6 steps in length, review them every 3-4 months, and leave it at that, and life will be pretty good for you. I want money, lots and lots of money, piled up to the sky. I know you're laughing at me, but hey, let's face it. That's one of the reasons we're all in the computer field. I don't know too many computer guys that expect to be making $20,000 their entire life. We're not archaeologists. We did not get our PhDs to starve. Just the fact of the matter. So the great thing with data recovery is this is an amazing opportunity to upsell, to make a lot more money, and to make the client happy all at the exact same time. Because when people come to you for repair work, they understand generally that repair work is different than something like data recovery. So at my computer repair shop, when we had it, if you came in to have a wipe and reload on your Windows computer, we would charge you $200 for that repair. So we would, we'd install the new operating system, we'd install antivirus, we'd install the whole insane amount of Windows updates, we'd reinstall all of their software, etc. And that was $200. Well, here was the thing. If somebody came in with a computer that would no longer boot up, so the operating system was dead, but they had data, they would say, well, for that $200, am I going to have my pictures? Am I going to have my videos? And you look at them, you say, honestly, no. That $200 or whatever your fee is, that's for the repair. They go, oh, well, what can we do about my pictures and videos? And you say, well, we can do data recovery. There's no operating system, so we don't know how good the hard drive is yet. But if the hard drive is usable, we can pull the data out. Now, depending on what you're charging, that is a very, very easy additional $100 to $200. Barely thinking about it. Like I say, what we would charge for the data recovery, if the files were still good, was $100. If the files were corrupt, there were problems, it would be an additional $200. So from one client, you've just gone from making $200 to $400 in the blink of the eye, and they're pretty happy for it because they want their data back. We had a lot of people, they may not end up fixing their computer, but they do want their data back. Now in this whole process, if the hard drive looks like it's dying in the computer that they gave you, because you can tell that. A lot of times when we had people bringing in their computers, you could hear the hard drive clicking back and forth, and that's obviously not a good thing. So you tell them, it sounds like the hard drive is dying. Do you want me to replace the hard drive that's already in there since we're fixing it anyway? They say yes. So now you sell them a new hard drive, internal hard drive for their computer. That's an additional $50 profit. Again, not really thinking anything about it. Obviously, they seem to be having some problems with their hard drive. You sell them a new hard drive, everybody's happy. Then with the data recovery process, you need some place to put the data. They may ask you to put it on their computer, or you can just say, well, do you want an external hard drive with us? When we pull all the data, we can put it on an external hard drive, and you can use it, in your day-to-day life once you have your data back. And they go, wow, that sounds like a good idea. Well, that's another $50 profit, easily. So think about this sale. Somebody comes in to do a computer repair work for $200, and in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you've upsold them an additional $300 of pure profit that they are going to be happy about. This isn't some esoteric argument about whether they should pay for a version of antivirus or use one of the free antiviruses. Ugh. I had so many arguments about that. We used to sell McAfee antivirus, and people would always want to use the free stuff. I didn't think the free stuff was as good, and you'd get into these huge arguments because they say, why should I pay for antivirus when I can get it for free? This isn't one of those arguments. Do you want your data back, you ask them? And they say yes. Fine, it's an extra $200. I mean, that's really all there is to it. They will be happy for it. I know, because I've started to get correspondence from you guys, that a lot of you guys are new to this field. You're either new to being a consultant or you're just new to IT in general. I saw this with my employees. I even felt this a little bit with myself when I was a consultant. Don't be too worried about the client's pocketbook. A lot of times, especially in this recession, I mean, it's sweet, but it's dumb. People get too worried about what the client can pay, and so they don't charge for things like these data recovery services. Oh my God, we're in a recession. I don't want to bill them an extra $200. Well, we'll go into a whole class on how economics works, but the fact of the matter is, money, the economy is a cycle. You get an extra $200 out of them, so you can give the pizza guy an extra $20, and etc. The point is, in business, is that you should genuinely get as much money out of the client as possible while they are still happy. Now, if you start ripping them off, I mean, that's a different story. But if they're willing to pay $200 for repair, and they're willing to pay $200 for data recovery, and they're willing to pay more money for the hardware, man, take that profit. There's a reason why some kids, their parents pay for them to go to Harvard, and other kids parents can barely pay for them to go to community college. And this is why. So don't be scared about charging for these services. I mean, these services, this is your upselling. This is where you make your money. Now, when you do the data recovery service, you will have to decide, what do you charge for, or how much do you charge? So do you charge your client anything if you don't get anything for them? I would suggest, at the very minimum, you take at least a $49 deposit. Again, clients being clients, a lot of times they don't realize how hard the data recovery process is, and so they will tell you to go ahead on the data recovery process, even if they're not sure about it. So you go all the way to the end, you get all the data, and then they're like, yeah, no, I didn't want it. By charging them, even if it's refundable, a $49 fee, it makes them think about whether they actually want the data recovery service. Because remember, this data recovery is going to take you a good amount of time. Data recovery is not simply plugging a hard drive into a device and getting the data back. As we've gone over, there is work involved. Clients do not realize this. So if you're going to do the data recovery process, like I say, at least get a $49 refundable deposit. So you say, you put down the $49 for the service. If we get your data back, it will be, it's $200 total, so it'll be an extra $151. If we can't get any data back for you, we will refund you the $49 deposit. That way, they put something down, and it makes them think. I'm telling you, clients will have you running around in circles doing a lot of work and then not think twice about walking away from it. Now, as we're talking about how much you can charge for these services, how much you should charge for these services, you have to decide what your market will bear and what you're comfortable charging. Now, obviously, I want you to charge at least $200. That's the least I want you to charge if you're doing any kind of real data recovery. Um, but you can charge more than that. For the services that I've shown you with a little data recovery device and all that, you could legitimately charge all the way up to $1,000 for data recovery. The question that you're going to have to ask yourself, based on whatever factors, is how much are your clients willing to pay? Because you don't want the fee to slide up and down. If you decide a major data recovery is $800, then it pretty much has to stay at $800. We'll go over this kind of pricing in a different class about how you charge. But basically, whatever you charge should stay there. You don't charge, I don't know, Mama Mia $300 for data recovery and Papa John $800 for data recovery. It'll create a mess and it will create problems. So you have to decide what will you charge, and then you have to decide what will make your clients happy and come back to you. One of the reasons I always try to keep my services relatively inexpensive is, again, that everybody was basically smiling when they left. Even if they spent $500 in labor fees, that was still less expensive than many of our competitors. And so when they left, they were more likely to have a good feeling in their heart, and they would most likely come back to us as their preferred provider. Whereas if I had charged them, let's say, $800 for data recovery, I may have gotten that $800 out of them that once, but they may not have been as happy, so they may not have come back to me in the future. So that's one of the things you have to think about your pricing and how you're going to do data recovery. Is whatever prices you pick, I would say you need to stick with them. And then just, do you just want to get as much money out of the person as possible, or do you want them to be happy and coming back to you? Like I say, for most of the data recovery, we would charge up to about $200, maybe a little more. You could reasonably charge probably up to $400 before people start really whining and complaining. Legitimately, you could probably charge all the way up to $1,000, and people would pay that. But the question then is, would they actually come back to you after they pay that? So that's the money of this business, and that's something to think about. One of the main points, though, is make sure to get a deposit out of the clients before they drop off the device. Because like I say, even if it's refundable, at least that makes them think about what they're doing. We saw this so much with clients where they would drop a device off. We would go through all the effort to do data recovery, and then they would decide, oh no, I don't really need it, and then we'd never see them again. So those are some of the thoughts on the money issues when it comes to data recovery. So that's really the business of data recovery. If you're looking at going out and only doing a data recovery shop, I would not suggest that. But if you're looking at a way to supplement your income, or basically get more money out of the clients you already have, data recovery is a pretty easy way to get it. You don't have to get certified. You just have to learn a few hacking techniques, and you're good. So this can be a very, very good way to get a lot more money out of the clients you already have. Just remember, like I said, if I haven't shown you in this track enough tools for data recovery, you want to know more, just do Google searches and look for different products, look for different tools, and see what is out there and what is available. Basically, all data recovery is pure dyed-in-the-wool hacking. This is hacking. You are trying to get to data through unusual means. That's what hacking is. So the better you understand computers, the better you understand how file systems work, how programs work, how softwares work, data storage, the whole 9 yards, the better you will get at data recovery. Now, remember, no matter how good you get at this and however much you learn, you need to come up with a set of procedures that you're going to follow for data recovery. I would suggest the procedures should be 3 to 6 steps in length, and make sure you have fail-out points. So, if the first thing doesn't work, try the second thing. If the second thing doesn't work, try the third thing. If the third thing doesn't work, call the client. It's done. Like I say, this is where I phrased the term rabbit hole to hell is from data recovery. Is you keep following that damn little rabbit through little data recovery tunnel and you never come back out again if you don't give yourself a place to stop. You know, it's somewhere you've got to say, I'm not going any further. It's not worth it. I'm sorry, your dead dog's pictures are on this hard drive, but I'm not going to spend 48 hours or 5 weeks or whatever trying to recover that. You know, I mean, and basically you can tell the client, you know, if the client had a good backup system, they wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. So don't feel too bad. Come up with your set of procedures, follow procedures. If you fail out, then you fail out, and you're done. Again, clients are generally very happy to pay for data recovery. You know, they'll shell out the money most of the time without thinking about it. But that's also make sure that they do think about it enough when they're giving you the computer or hard drive to do the data recovery on. Make sure you're not trying to recover AOL mail, you know, or YouTube videos. You think I'm joking. I'm not. Or if they have a computer that's operational and they think it's deleted files, make sure the files are actually deleted and they just were moved somewhere else. Again, make sure you have an agreement with the client on what you are going to provide and what they are going to pay for. You know, if you don't get anything for them, I wouldn't say you should charge them. If all you get back is temp files, you know, they're not going to be happy if you charge them, probably not charge them. But if you get back 100 documents, real documents that are actually readable, then they need to pay the bill. Even if the document they're looking for doesn't happen to be in that whole mess of documents, they still need to pay for the data recovery. So when you're talking with them, if they sign the contract or whatever, you know, you are recovering pictures, videos, documents, have that stated, and then if you recover pictures, videos, and documents, then they pay for it. Don't let them look at the files before they pay for it, because like I say, they will look and they'll say, oh, well maybe there's nothing there that I want, and they'll walk out the door, or they'll go, oh, the document I want isn't there, and they'll walk out the door, and all your time and energy is wasted. Along those lines, also, I would suggest you have them put down some type of deposit. Again, it can be completely refundable. So, you know, if you don't find anything, you know, you refund them the deposit, but make them think about what they were doing. Especially with data recovery, people think we just wave wands around and we make it work, which obviously it's not the case. So make them put down a $49 refundable or non-refundable, doesn't matter to me, deposit, and with the understanding that if you get a large amount of documents, they will pay the rest of the fee, and if not, it will either be refunded or not. And that's really the business of data recovery. Like I said, I know a lot of you guys out there are new in this field, and I know a lot of people, you know, this field isn't quite as techy as people make it out to be. I mean, obviously we deal with computers, but we also deal with a lot of human issues. You know, we're all worried about the recession. We're all worried about where our neighbor's next paycheck is going to come from. We're not worried, but we're concerned. You still have to bill your clients. You still have to upsell, and you still have to make a profit. I mean, frankly, that's the only thing that's going to get us out of this damn recession. You know, the more money we all spend and we all give to each other and create that nice little circle, that's what will pull us out of the recession. So don't feel scared or don't feel sheepish about charging good money for data recovery. This is an easy upsell. This is an easy way to go from making a $200 profit to a $400 profit on the same client. They'll be happy, or at least happy-ish. You're making more money. It's all good. Don't get scared about this and not charge people because you're all worried about, you know, oh, I don't know how they're going to pay the rent. Worry about how you're going to pay the rent, and just make some money. So I hope this track has been good for you. I hope this little thought about the business process of data recovery has been good for you. As always, I'm Eli the Computer Guy. This class was the business of data recovery, and I look forward to seeing you at the next class.